So today is the summer solstice, which, as you know, is the longest day of the year. Now, for our buddies down south, it's the winter solstice, which is, of course, the shortest day of the year. Now, having said that, there's a topic I'd like to discuss that's interlinked to the warming and cooling of the Earth, and that's sea ice and land ice. Now, as I'm sure you should already know, we are losing sea ice in the Arctic at unprecedented levels. Every year, the extent of the sea ice in the Arctic decreases. Now, aside from losing habitat for polar bears and seals, which is one of the oft-repeated points, the sea ice serves a greater purpose. Sea ice is white, of course. White, light colors, deflect light. The ocean itself is very dark. Dark colors tend to absorb more heat. So, as you lose sea ice, the Earth absorbs more light. That water absorbs that light. And on top of that, it takes 80 times the amount of energy to melt 1 gram of ice in a glass of water than it does to simply warm it up, an iceless glass of water to the temperature of the surrounding environment. Like right now, there's just tiny little pieces of ice in here, but yet this cup is still cool. Now, having said that, let's look at the south. What about Antarctica? Well, Antarctica is actually gaining sea ice. Now that seems a bit odd now, doesn't it? Yeah, well, there's a good reason for that. There's an ozone hole. The ozone hole was created when we had all these chemicals like chlorofluorocarbons and aerosols and all these refrigerants that we used in the 20th century, and it created this ozone hole. And now, since we've reduced the use of those, the ozone hole is closing. But as is, a lot of the heat that's being trapped down in Antarctica is actually escaping through the ozone. As the ozone closes, more heat will get trapped. But as is most places, there's quite a few places in Antarctica that are actually cooling. Some places are warming up, like the peninsula. But that is one of the main explanations for the increase in sea ice. Like I said, as the ozone heals, Antarctica will warm up as well. With that in mind, even though sea ice is increasing, the land ice is actually decreasing. The West Antarctic ice shelf is predicted to collapse in the next century or two. Let's say this is a West Antarctic ice sheet. Let's say this is the sea ice in Antarctica. The sea ice, of course, displaces, it's already in the water. The sea ice melts and it refreezes every year, every season. It's completely natural. But the sea ice is already in the seawater. The volume is already being displaced. On the other hand, the land ice, once that comes off the land and collapses into the sea, that raises the global sea levels, because that is not even involved with the ocean. That is on top of the Antarctic landmass. It falls into the ocean, displaces the volume. The same effect happens with Greenland in the Arctic. Greenland is losing more and more of its land ice. This is obviously a very serious problem. So maybe you don't think climate change is occurring, but I'm going to tell you there are quite a few reasons. I mean, there's just so many. NASA, NOAA, even the Pope. They're all acknowledged that climate change is happening. We don't want it to be happening. I don't want it to be happening. But sticking my fingers in my ears, pretending it's not, isn't going to help anybody. And there are some effects that we probably won't be able to reverse. I mean, at least not anytime soon. But having said that, we can always do whatever we can to buffer it. Energy efficiency, electric vehicles, renewable resources, of course, all that usual green hippie shtick. I mean, no matter what you think, it's important. It's important to cap these emissions. It's important to be aware of what's happening. So, on that note, I normally discuss wildlife. I have educational videos about animals, various species, and the environment. If you're interested in seeing more of my videos, please subscribe to my channel. Please like and share my videos. I'd be really appreciative. I really hope you have a wonderful day, and I thank you very much. I don't know you personally, maybe I do, but I care about you. I think you're a great person.